Hello, and welcome to another glorious episode of a show that can really only be called The Popcorn King. Great, so today we are going to be doing a little review of a movie called, and I actually need to check this because I actually don't know the actual proper name of it, but it's like Godzilla and King Kong. Let's see what it's called. Let's see the actual name of this goddamn film. Right, so it's called Godzilla X Kong, or is that Godzilla times Kong? The New Empire. So before it was Godzilla versus Kong, right? That was the previous film where they fought, and then now we've got the new film. So what is this film about? So it's not really about anything, if I'm honest with you. It's just some Titan monster, sort of kaiju like giant city destroying monsters fighting each other. Um, Basically makes no sense whatsoever. There's a bunch of huge, gigantic apes living in this sort of middle world, which is inside our world somehow. Um, and this world has land at the top and land at the bottom as well. And somehow there's still sunlight in there, even though it's like a cave of land, but it's huge, it's gigantic, and there's these giant monsters and animals and stuff in there. And so Kong is living in there now, and he discovers this group of apes, and they want to get to the surface Earth where Godzilla is. And that's really it. I don't, if there's that spoilers, I don't know. That's it. That's really the story. There's a bunch of humans that, for some reason, are down there, and yeah, that's what it is. And it's not as good as the other Godzilla film that came out last year, the Japanese one. Anyway, I want to tell you who's starring in this film. We've got Rebecca Hall, Brian Tyree Henry, Dan Stevens, and Kaylee Hottle, and some other actors as well. So, what do I think of this film? What can I say about this film? It obviously gaping logic holes throughout it. There are much better blockbusters that you can watch and have a much more sort of raucous time. Like, I love a good stupid blockbuster that where the storyline isn't as important. I love those sort of films. I fucking love films where cities get destroyed. I love Independence Day. It's like one of the best films ever, in my opinion. But this film really is. It's just I don't know. It's like pro wrestling with monsters. Like it kind of is. It's kind of just nothing. I won't say I completely hated it. Like I wasn't like sweating from being agitated, like watching Transformers 3. Where you're just like, oh, I don't think I can handle this sort of visual noise anymore. But so it wasn't as bad as that, but it's still just kind of a nothing film, and it's such stark contrast to the Japanese Godzilla that came out last year, which was like my favorite film of the year. This is really just like I might as well just be watching a cartoon. Like it's just so much CGI. It's so much destruction. Like to the point where like people in the cinema would just start laughing when the name of a new city came up, and we're like, "Oh, we're in Cairo now. I guess the pyramids are gonna get destroyed. Oh, we're in Rio de Janeiro now. Oh, we're in France now." Like it's just like people just started laughing because we're like, "Oh no, here's another famous monument about to be destroyed." But yeah, I didn't hate it. I wasn't like I wasn't totally unenjoying it. Like there were parts in it I was like, okay, yeah. Once you just accept life, and this is gonna be my life for the next 2 hours. Once I just sort of accept that, it's almost like a form. I've said this before. It's almost like a form of meditation where I can just sort of stop thinking. Like how people who really study the art of meditation, their goal is to try their hardest to not let their mind wander and not let their concentration go. Like they really just want to empty their mind, be at one with the present, not have anything external. Like that's like the goal of meditation, right? I feel like watching this film does that because I guess all my senses just uh, they're so overly stimulated to the point where it's gone all the way back around to becoming like I'm just nothing, sitting there putting popcorn in my mouth, just sort of like hypnotized by the kaleidoscopic colors that are on the screen. And yeah, I guess for like a solid 2 hours my brain forgets to think, and in that kind of way it's a bit enjoyable. It's kind of like going into one of those sort of flotation pods where you go in there and you just float in darkness and you forget to think, and it's like, I just it's really hard to explain, but yeah, I kind of watch this and my mind empties, and I guess in the end of it, I'm like, okay, yeah, that was a bunch of monsters fighting and destroying absolutely everything, and I guess that's good. I guess that's fun to watch. I didn't absolutely hate it, definitely didn't love it, barely liked it, but it's just somewhere in the sort of, this will be a film that I probably forget about within a few days, and then I'll move on to the next film. Um, but yeah, they should really just stick to the Japanese Godzilla like type of movies, because that was just outstandingly good. And this is outstandingly sort of average, this new one. So yeah, that's all I really have to say about this film. I'm glad I watched it, glad it's out. I hope the people that watched it, like especially the kids, or a lot of kids in the audience, I hope they had a great time. But I just want to go to the cinema, shove popcorn down my throat, sort of have my eyes open, my brain empty, and just take in the information and just, indoctrinate me, please.